Hello everyone, we are back with another first round preview, this time being the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Nashville Predators. Now, before we start, please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are new. Now, let's get to it. So, it is another Central Division showdown, and this is going to be a really interesting series. And I know you're probably thinking, Avs in 4, but hear me out. I'm going to talk in this video, and we'll see who I really think, because actually the Predators won the season series, so there is some hope, right? Well, we'll get on into it. For starters, the biggest factor of this series is definitely going to be the health of Juuse Saros, and he is, number one goalie in net for Nashville. Of course, they had Pecorine there before, and Saros was there as his backup, viewed as the future, and of course, he is the future now, their number one guy. Played 67 games, the Finnish goalie did for the Predators this year. He was in net for 2 of the 4 games against Colorado, stopping 64 of 70 shots for a .914 save percentage, along with 2 wins against the Avs. You go out there twice and pick up 2 wins, say it's a pretty good day for yourself. His health is currently unknown, though. As of late, it appears he could end up missing at the very least the beginning of the series, if not longer. It appears like he could be out 4 to 6 weeks, but then I also saw other reports saying he might be able to come back for this series. It's really weird. This is what I hate. At this point of the year, you can never get a straight answer and say, yes, he's going to be out. But of course, part of that too is how much a player is willing to endure if they're injured and if they want to play through that. So that's a big thing there. So if he is out, then who will fill in the presence of that Preds number one goalie spot? Well, probably David Rittich, who hasn't been able to find a consistent role since his time with Calgary. Was a guy that played, I don't remember how many years it was, but it was at least probably 4 or 5, and was able to play. I think the most he played was 48 games with him. Kind of looked like he might be the goalie of the future, kind of not. It was kind of a weird point for Calgary, but will he play well for Nashville? Truthfully, I'm not sold, but he'll probably be helped out by the fact that his team will probably be playing a 1-3-1 neutral zone forecheck, trying to keep the team in the defensive end of their own zone, and then at worst trying to regain the puck in the neutral zone, which is the point of the 1-3-1 neutral zone forecheck. And after all, you can't really score on a shaky goalie if your teammates are doing everything they can to limit entry into your zone where the goalie is. Still, it's a little more than concerning for Nashville if they can't effectively keep Colorado pinned back all in their zone. But of course, they've got their turnaround seasons from Matt Duchene, and they'd love to see that hopefully continue in the playoffs. And then of course you got the other guy, that being the man in charge, Forsberg. He was able to score a lot of goals, and will they be able to replicate this in the playoffs? Tough to say, as I'm a little worried too for Nashville in this regard. You relied a lot on Duchene scoring 43 goals this year after only scoring 6 in about half the games compared to the year before. And then Forsberg buried the puck 42 times in net this season compared to just 12 in 39 games last year. Again, they've had renaissance seasons. They've been very, very good, and it's been kind of fun to see Nashville turn it around after the last year you were thinking they were heading in the wrong direction. At least I was. But they've also been performing at a higher than expected level against a team like Colorado. I think we'd all expect their production to taper off a little bit. I mean, that would be the normal thing, though. Is there other guys that can step on this roster, step up compared to Duchene and Forsberg? Yes, I do think so. I think younger guys like Tanner Jeannot and then Yakov Trenin will be able to help out. Jeannot has been able to have a crazy high shooting percentage in his brief time in the league, but I do worry he may struggle to score since the majority of his shots do come down low in front of the net. And Colorado, while not as dominant, I mean, last year they were just crazy good at stopping the puck down low. They still are good this year, and while he has been able to get looks down low, going to be hard. Of course, you got Darcy Kemper in net. Things are going to go there well, or at least you'd imagine potentially. That right there is a concern, though, is Nashville's offense has struggled to really generate a lot of looks down low in the slot. Of course, they've had some that was in the high slot, but still, they're really going to have to be able to do that because they've finished above average down low. But the problem is if you're not getting down there and you only generate offense from the outside, might be a problem, especially against a team like Colorado. And I think that that's going to be a very, very big part of this. Other than that, though, I'd say the storyline I would expect the most, though, would be the Gabriel Landeskog injury status. The experienced winger hasn't played a game since March 10th, but is expected to play for Game 1 of the series. Huge for him, and we all know what he's capable of. The biggest boost of him coming back, though, that I thought would be an interesting take here would be his ability to get out of his own zone, which is increasingly important if Nashville does try to play the trap. Even if you just had one forechecker, the last thing you would want is to turn the puck over on your own end. Darcy Kuemper's not ready. Boom, whoever is forechecking just buries the puck in the back of the net. I'm curious to see what line 2 and how many minutes he'll play on, which I think that's going to be big there, as Avs head coach Jared Bednar will have to make that decision. You want your team to benefit from him being out there the most, but you also know that he's coming back from an injury. Might be a little rusty, might be a little out of shape, not his fault, because when you even condition for having an injury, I think we're all aware if you've ever had an injury in sports, coming back is difficult. You haven't done the things you were supposed to do before in terms of how you played your game. You were probably doing a lot of training that was more riding a bike or things like that, the stationary bikes. So that'll be interesting to see there for him. But I think really this is going to be them just focusing on winning this round. They've got big ambitions past this series, absolutely, but they have to take it one round at a time, as they have not made it out of the second round the past 4 years. You'd hate to make it 5 after another great year. So having said all this, I have to make a choice, and I know we could just keep on talking forever about every series, but of course we had little to no time, as these were all decided by Saturday. I had work all these games. I've been staying up late at night doing all these, so bear with me here. But of course, I will be picking the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. I hate to say series will always be relatively short, but I'm saying there will probably be a gentleman's sweep in this series because Nashville will likely have some success with their trap and frustrate the Avs for at least one game. If Soros was healthy, I'd be bold and say maybe, just maybe, they take it a little bit farther if the trap was working and he was on his game. But regardless of how much you try to hold back Colorado, you really can only do so much before the dam breaks and all the water comes on it. Now, Nashville has also been outperforming expectations all year. We know that, and has a goalie issue, which is heading into a series against arguably the best team in the league. I know they didn't finish with the most points, didn't finish with President's Trophy, but I still think they are one of the better, if not best team in the league, and I think that's going to be interesting on that. On top of that, Nashville is also the second worst team in the league when it comes to percentage of unblocked shots, attempts for that miss the net, meaning that if this trend holds, Nashville will probably not have a ton of opportunities if they're just trying to limit opportunities for Colorado of getting shots. Maybe if you're able to get turnovers, that'll be a big thing. But if you're not generating a lot of possession, then you're also not going to be able to generate a lot of offense, which means that if you're also shooting a lot and missing the net a lot, what's going to happen with limited opportunities? You might miss the net just at the high rate as that as well, and then of course that would mean bad news for your team. And to add on that, they're just kind of dead average at defensive zone giveaways to their opponent, and against a juggernaut in the West that is the Colorado Avalanche, that does not bode well, because you have to be the best of the best. You cannot be a team that's just average. You have to be flawless at maintaining the puck and obviously not turning over the puck in a bad end, especially your defensive end, and then of course capitalizing on the opportunities you'll get. Hopefully not limited for Nashville, but curious to see how that works out for them. So I'm unsure of what they'll do or how they'll do it, but I'm really hoping we get a good series, and of course you get Cale Makar and Roman Josi squaring off in the first round. Those two are in contention for the Norris, and it's great to see these two play each other in the first round after really great years. I know a lot of people say Josi came on strong at the end of the year. That's a whole other debate for a whole other time about players finishing the year hot versus a player that's played good all year. Probably have to do a video about that, but that's for another day. Now it is time for me to hear who you'd pick. Make sure to comment down below who will win and in how many games. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you are new and you want more content from me. Also, don't forget to check out my other playoff preview series. Those will be at the end of the video. You can just click on the playlist. Hopefully check those out and hopefully subscribe to my channel. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night, and you go off hockey, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.